Hi guys, I hope all of you are doing well. So let's try to understand if there is any linkage between a procedural fairness letter and a sponsorship application. Now, not many people are aware of this issue, but this is quite common. Now, let's say you are a permanent resident of Canada and you're trying to sponsor your wife, right? You generally call this application a sponsorship application, but by law, this is called a family class application. Let's say your wife is in India, hypothetically speaking. You are in Canada, your wife is in India, you're trying to sponsor your wife, and you are a Canadian permanent resident. Very important for you to understand. Can you really travel out of the country, out of Canada, while your sponsorship application is going on? No. Ideally, you should not. Not many people are aware of it, and they keep on back and forth between the country where the wife resides or the husband resides, basically the spouse resides, and the country where the sponsor resides. But ideally, you should not. The law says that if you are a Canadian permanent resident and if you are having a family class application going on, the onus really lies on you, the sponsor, to prove that you would be living inside Canada after the sponsorship application or the family class application is approved, right? So this technically does not mean that you cannot leave the country, but the more and more you leave the country and for a longer period, IRCC will send you a procedural fairness letter asking for justifications as to why you are leaving the country that frequently, raising questions on your motivation to be living in Canada after the sponsorship application is approved. Definitely, the family reunification could be an issue if your spouse or the better half is living in another part of the world. Obviously, you would like to be with him or her. Understandable, but it is very also important to for you to understand that how the law works. So, the golden rule: if you are a Canadian permanent resident and trying to sponsor your wife, period, don't leave the country. Safest. If you leave the country, if you have to leave the country, make sure, if possible, the duration of your absence is short durations, maybe 10 days, 15 days, understandable. Should not be for months, right? Now, if you are a Canadian citizen, in that case, you can be outside the country while your sponsorship application is going on. But again, you have to prove that you would be living inside Canada after the sponsorship application is being approved. So for a permanent resident, you have to be inside Canada while they make a decision. For when it comes to a Canadian citizen, you can still be outside the country, but you have to prove that you will be living inside Canada after the sponsorship application is approved. So again, just to play it safe, probably it's not a good idea to leave the country irrespective of whether you are a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident while the family class application is going on. If you get a procedural fairness letter, yes, you technically have an option to respond to that letter to prove your intention and whatnot. The problem really happens, and that many people do not understand, is that it drags the application. I have seen numerous cases where after receiving this kind of a fairness letter, IRCC is non-responsive for a period of 6 months, quite literally. That is frustrating. So to avoid that, don't leave the country till the time the sponsorship or the family class application is approved. We as an organization, we specialize on procedural fairness letter cases. We work on family class application, spousal sponsorship application as well. If you need our assistance, more than welcome to hop into our website, book a consultation. I'll be more than happy to have a case specific discussion with you. Hope this helps. Bye now.